Welcome to Coffee with Joe for Tuesday, March 27th,
Salute, Pete.
2012. Hi,
Salute.
Joe.
Good to see you.
Joe, you wrote an interesting letter to one of the professors that we know at the Gund Institute for Ecological Economics at the University of Vermont, who we've worked a little bit with the Vermont Monetary Policy Working Group, this ad hoc group that Gwen Hallsmith has had meeting for the last year,
Yeah.
that's brought together all the people in the state who want to talk about monetary reform ideas, the state banking people and the monetary reformers like us get to go to those meetings.
Yep.
So this was a very interesting line that you wrote to this gentleman. I'm trying here to convince you folks at the Institute to begin to teach the concept of a non-reserve based money system. In following Sadi's revolutionary thinking in his second lecture on Cartesian economics, the workings of a proper public money system would never breach the concept of reserves. What does this mean for this idea of full reserve banking that we support as one of the three legs of the Kucinich bill or any true monetary reform bill?
The paradigm that we live in now, Pete, is fractional reserve versus full reserve banking. And the people that see the money system as the endogenous money system functioning from the banks creating money. Okay, that whole thing is fractional reserve based, and we say no, we have to go away from fractional reserve based to what? Okay, so we say to full reserve banking because our whole concept is that there has to be real money there in order for banks to lend it. So we say that the banking system's loans are fully reserved. But that's a trap, Pete, that we, as monetary reformers get caught up in trying to correct the old paradigm. And to me, it's not only an unnecessary trap, but it's a trap that it's almost impossible to get out of. It's like, how do you change the conversation, Pete? We need to be able to change the conversation in order to reform to the money system.
The words you
So
use matter.
the words you use matter. So if immediately, like for instance, Pete, when Steve Keen gave his talk at the Monetary Reform Conference, he said, "You guys are trying to solve a problem that don't exist. That is fractional reserve banking. We don't have fractional reserve banking. Well, what do we have? We don't have full reserve banking. We don't have zero reserve banking. What kind of banking do we have?" So he says, "No, the thing that's in existence is endogenous money." They say the reserves are the existence of the reserves are meaningless to the functioning of the money system. Yeah, but but that doesn't change anything because endogenous money, fractional reserve banking, reserve-based banking are all part of the debt-based money system, Pete. That's the key here, okay? Is that if money is going to be created as a debt and it's going to be tried to be managed by using interest rates to manage the supply of money, okay, then you are left with, I'm going to say, not an unwinnable argument on full reserve banking, Pete, but you're left with a paradigm, a struggle that's going to be almost impossible to win. And so, what do we want to do? We want to get to the concept of real money, real money. And so we say, how do we get there? We get there from Sadi's way of thinking about, a national economy.
This is Frederick Sadi.
Frederick Sadi, a national economy, a national monetary system. You have a national monetary system that provides money as a means of exchange for the national economy. That's the key. There's no place in having money as a means of exchange for a national economy where the concept of a reserve basis would come into play. Okay, it would not come into play because in order to provide the means of exchange, there has to be a match of exchange media, as they call it, Pete, exchange media between production and consumption. So all that means is there must be money, Pete. There must be money. Ultimately, there must be money. So the concept of trying to manage that money using interest rates as the tool for managing the money instead of using the issuance of money to manage money is a paradigm that needs to go away. It needs to be replaced. And so to me, it's important that we begin to think in the new paradigm, in the non-reserve based paradigm, Pete. There's no rational basis, no scientific basis, Pete, no scientifically rational basis for using the reserve based concept, the endogenous money based concept. And, and being that all of that is tied to debt based money, we need, in order to have debt-based money, the banks came up with the concept of, well, we're going to issue the money as a debt. How are we going to do it, Pete? Okay. And they said, well, we're going to do it on the basis of having an amount of reserves that we're going to have and then keep issuing more and more and more debts. And in theory, the reserves provide stability to the debts. But really, Pete, the whole system of debt-based money, even endogenous money, that whole endogenous money based paradigm, uh, are the causes, Pete, are the inherent causes of the instability in the financial system. But let's say the financial system, it's really the monetary system, but because we have a financial system that works in monetary units, it's the financial instability that plays out in what? In Minsky, in Minsky's concepts of studying how the economy,
Instability.
grows,
Instability.
exactly. So in order to begin to talk about economic stability, and this is kind of the connection between us and Steve Keen, Pete. Okay, is the fact that Steve Keen has now moved to the direction of promoting economic stability. He even has a Center for Economic Stability, uh, ironically the same name as my dad had for his efforts to reform the money system. The Center for Economic Stability was my dad's original thing. So, so if we're going to have economic stability, see, then the question has to be posed to Steve Keen and everybody else. Well, how do you remove the instability? What causes the instability? You know, they offer a leg that says, well, if we end financial speculation, Pete, if we end financial speculation, but that will not do it, because it doesn't have to be financial speculation. If it's debt based, it's going to still be cyclical. It's still going to still be pro cyclical. If we create money as a temporary uh, medium, Pete, if we create money and destroy money by the debt based money system, using interest rates to try to control money, all of that, Pete, goes to the undoing of financial and economic stability. Ultimately, economic stability is what we want, Pete, because what we the people actually measure the things in is our wages, our jobs, the prices, all of those things that uh, are relevant to people just getting up and going to work every day and paying their bills every day. So in order to have economic stability, and we need to have monetary stability. In order to have monetary stability, we have to get away from the whole concept of debt-based money and what goes with it, the concept of there's a need to have reserves, or any relationship to a concept of reserves in the monetary system. There is no need for it, and it actually undoes the effort to provide stability. So yeah, we need to start to think in those terms, Pete. We need to talk about non-reserve based money system and therefore a banking system.
This reminds me of the Einstein quote: "We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them."
Nothing could be more truthful than that
So what you're
observation.
saying, it's really a whole new paradigm of thinking, the debt-free money-based way of thinking about money in the economy. So um, it makes it hard for the conversation to go forward when we use old thinking concepts like full reserve banking
Hmm.
to describe the new paradigm, which means the challenge is even greater, Joe. How do you get people on the other side of the looking glass? Is essentially what you're saying.
Well,
Um,
that's
and
true.
and here we are making videos and talking to maybe 100 people, over a couple of weeks. It would sure be nice if we could figure out a way to broaden this conversation. But we just keep talking about it. That's what we do.
But we do whatever we can, and we hope for the best.
Okay. Real good, Joe.
Okay, thanks,
Talk
Pete.
to you soon. Bye.
Take care.